and Hausa. So as a Fulbright scholar, he currently teaches Hausa language and culture here at the University of Georgia. His research interest lies in cultural representation, particularly how the Hausa culture is represented on the internet. He has experience working as a freelancer, providing language services such as translation, transcription, subtitling, linguistic evaluation, language tutoring, and proofreading. And so without further ado, I'd like us to welcome Malam Abu to proceed with his talk. He will be talking about the Hausa marriage, how, when, and where. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending from where you are joining us from. It's nice meeting you once again, and it's now nice having you in the forum to discuss more about the topic, which is a continuation of the lecture we started already on when, how, and where of Hausa marital rights. That is to discuss on issues concerning the Hausa marital rights before and now. Yeah, so I'll quickly yeah I'll quickly go back to what we discussed already to summarily talk about it, then we continue from where we stopped the other time. Yeah, so as you can see the topic, the when, how, and where of Hausa marital rights. So this is a bride, Hausa bride, sample of Hausa bride with her parents, and this bridegroom with his parents also. Yeah, we talk a bit about the Hausa and the Hausa land. The Hausa and the Hausa land, we talked about the population. The Hausas have about 150 million population, uh, most three located in northern Nigeria and southern Niger. Yeah, we talk about palace, yeah, like Kano Palace, the Katsina and Sokoto Palace, as you can see them in these pictures. We talk about the Zagzag Palace. We talk also about craft and occupation of the houses, yeah, including weaving, farming, animal farming, trading, fishing, cabin, yeah, civil service, politics, yeah, and a lot more. Yeah, we talk about cosmetology also and hair plating, which is usually for females. Yeah, and we talked about the meaning of marriage in global perspective, as well as the meaning of marriage uh, in the perception of the houses. Yeah, and we talked about marriage in the olden days, what it requires in the Hausa community. You can see that there must be, it must be between male and a female. There must be agreement, there must be dowry, there must be consent of families, representatives, and witnesses. Yeah, we also talk about why marriage in the olden days. These are reasons why the Hausas got married in the olden days. Yeah, we mentioned 6 of them here. So all these ones, when you have question after the presentation, because today's session is only for question and answers. So I'm briefly going through what we discussed the other time, and I will complete the presentation today within 5 to 10 minutes. Then I will give room for question and answers. Yeah, we also talk about maintaining a wife. Yeah, obtaining a wife, a glance at the history. Yeah, and these are ways by which a Hausa man can obtain a wife. That was years back. Well, years back, yeah, exactly. Either seeking a girl's hand in marriage, a gift that someone take a girl, maybe his daughter or relative, and give you out for marriage. Finding Sintua, buying, war, raiding, attack, and picking. Yeah, we explain all these ones. So when you have question after the session, you can ask about them. Yeah, we also talked about factors considered while choosing a wife. Yeah, the concern of those days. So these 4 factors are considered in those days when choosing a wife in the Hausa community. Yeah, we also talked about confirming bride virginity, which we explained. There are many ways, but we explained two of the major ways, which use of Wargona Higout or Magiro. Yeah, we explained these ones. Uh, then we talked about influence of Islam on the Hausa marital traditions. And we explained that when the Hausas accept Islam, all marital traditions, the requirements were only four. First is presence of representatives, both from the side of the bride and the side of the bridegroom. Then witnesses, which start from two men and above. So there must be witnesses. We talked about dowry and marriage statements. Yeah. So then we talked about Hausa marriage and modernity, especially emergence of various forms of marriage, like gift marriage, auren sadaka, family marriage, auren zumunta. Family marriage is a situation whereby a person marries a lady that come from the same family. The bride and the bridegroom comes from the same family. Yeah, take your tea, go with your weapon. We explain this once the other time. Yeah, so if you have question on any of them, you can ask me later on. Yeah. Then steps in the Hausa marriage between tradition and choice. And this is where we stopped the other time. So we talked about that these ones are between tradition and choice. So a listener should not think that he may necessarily find all these traditions in all marriages in the Hausa community. No, they are traditions. So for that, they are not necessary and they are choice. So one may choose to go by them or may choose to, avoid them, ignore them during the marital processes. The first one is Otoshi, and we explained it the other time that when a guy saw a girl that he loves, yeah, he usually gives her gifts on and on, which is called Toshi in Hausa. We talked about I see I love, which is Nagani Inaso, which is a form of gift also, a large quantity that is taken to the family of the bride. Yeah. Uh, you can see this example of it. The first picture here, you can see it. Biscuit, minerals, yeah, cola nut, and some other materials. Yeah, you can see also this one, biscuit, minerals, cola nut, and other things. Then the picture of the bride at the bottom. Yeah, visiting and a request. So the next step is when the family of the bridegroom visit the family of the bride to request for permission so that their son will be permitted to be taken to the daughter of that family. So the fourth one is engagement. After the permission, with time they will get engaged. So engagement is when the family of the bride officially announce that lady belongs to the person. So for that, no other person is expected to, you know, go to her in the name of seeking her hands for marriage. So we talk about dowry also, uh, which is money, an amount of money, specified amount of money that is given to the bride by the bridegroom or his family. Yeah, we talked about kain aure. Yeah, and this is, you know, some clothes, dress. Yeah, this is given to also to the bride by the bridegroom or his family. Then married date or yankaranan aure. We explained that this is a situation whereby a particular, date is stated for the marriage ceremony to take place proper. Yeah, and we talk about henna, which is lalle. Usually in the Hausa community, is part of the process to get a bride ready, that you must to like observe this one, and also is an event on its own, especially with the influence of modernity now. I will share you a video, an event on its own, where the prince of the bride and friends of the bridegroom come together, they eat together, they dance, listen to music, they celebrate. Yeah, so let me share a video for you to see an example of how that take place. Oh, I hope you all enjoyed that actually. So you can see that it was traditional. The drummers were traditional. Yeah, and the event also, the nature of the event. So that's henna celebration. Yeah. Uh, let's go further. Then there is something that is called booking also kamu, and this one also is an event just like the other one where it is celebrated. We don't have time, we explained it already, so no need to go back. Then the marriage ceremony, and this is the real ceremony whereby uh, the representative of the bride and the representative of bridegroom meet at a particular place, usually the house, the family house of the bride, and the proper marriage ceremony take place there. Yeah, we explained it. We even cited examples. Yeah, the other time. So then groceries, ogara, and this is foodstuff in large quantity that is taken from the house of the bride to the house of the bridegroom. So after the marriage, the family of the bride will provide groceries in large quantities, and they will give them out to the bride and the bridegroom. Yeah, they will use that maybe in couple of months or even up to few years after their marriage in their marital home. Then moving home or chariwa. This also an event which is the final in the Hausa marital traditions of today. And this the process whereby the parents of the bride and some members of her family take her to the house of her husband after the marriage ceremony. After the marriage ceremony, yeah. So on the way they sing, yeah. Sometimes they listen to music, and yeah. So we talk about I see Allah already. Then emergence of premarital and postmarital parties, which is an influence of modernity. Before, in recent years, there was nothing like Mother's Day, English Day, Arabian Day, Villagers Day, and whatsoever. But now, due to influence of modernity, there emerge all these forms of events. So in Mother's Day, usually the mothers of the bride and the mothers of the bridegroom and their friends come together, they sing and dance, they eat together, they associate, and that will be the end of the event. In English Day, it's usually carried out by the bride and the bridegroom together with their friends. Yeah, so friends will be invited. Everyone will dress uh, in English ways. Yeah, then all the music that will be played during such event will be English musics. Then Arabian Day, during this event, uh, the bride and the bridegroom together with their friends will come together, and the dress they will wear that day will be Arabic dress, Arabian dress. and the music that will be played during such events will all be Arabian music. So the music will be in Arabic. The last one, the villagers day. Yeah, a villager is someone that comes from village, a rural area with less development. So during villagers day event, uh, people dress as if they are villagers, yeah, typical villagers, and the songs that will be played, the music that will be played during the event will also be a kind of music of village people. Then talking about this English Day and Mother's Day and introduction of modern music in the Hausa traditions, Hausa Marital traditions, I will also show you a video. Yeah, in the video I'm going to show you, you will observe that it's totally looking modern. It's not traditional, not like the other video I show you at first.
Wasu babun suka manto mu ko za mu buranto ba a nuna mana komi. Rawa, 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 rawa. Mu dai bikinmu duk a tsari muka taso don alayi muka jero. Amarya da kanta ta fito murnar aure. Rawa, 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 rawa. Da wuya ta karmu, ai gardaɗi ya karmu don ba mu bari ya bar mu ko don gyaran bikinmu. Rawa, 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 rawa.
Rawa, rawa. Okay, that was fun actually. So you can see that it's moving from traditional to modern, and that's what usually takes place now in the Hausa community, a modern way of singing, modern music. Okay, influence of modernity on Hausa marital traditions. A summary. We talked about these ones. The areas where modernity influenced the Hausa marital traditions include the I love I talked about, forms of marriage. We talked about them, the forms of marriage, all those take your stick and the rest of them we discuss. Then dress, yeah, dressing also, like what I explained earlier, during Mother's Day or English Day, people wear English dress. During Arabian Day, yeah, everyone wears Arabic dress. And during Plani Day or Villagers Day, people wear a dress of the villagers. So that is influence of modernity on dress. While at the initially during marital ceremonies in the Hausa land, the dress is native, just Hausa dress, just like what I'm wearing now. Yeah, so due to the influence of modernity, the dress change. Food also, the food that is taken during such events change with time. Yeah. Then events, the event themselves. I show you example of a video already where the event is turning modern. Yeah, not traditional. Then the music, the form of music that is played. Yeah, they play English music. Yeah, and all of that. Then the last issue I would like to talk here is woof. Yeah, this is a trending issue now in the Hausa community and is into existence due to the influence of modernity on Hausa marital traditions. And what does this word woof means? According to Bajari Dictionary, you can see the meaning he gave it. Emphasizes sudden action like jumping up, pouncing, yeah, on it, and the rest of them. So if we say woof, we mean something that happens all of the sudden. Like for example, if my cup is falling down and I quickly grab it, so what the action I perform is whoop. So that all of the sudden I perform a particular action. That is whoop. So, and what is whoop in the Hausa marital tradition? That one simply means it's a situation whereby there is an old man, for example, and there is another young girl. That old man is older than maybe even her father. But all of the sudden, that young girl, because of certain reasons, especially monetary reasons. Maybe the person is rich or politically influential, then she married the person. So that one, what he has done is whoop. Yeah, he married her all of the sudden. Or there is an old woman, then there is a young guy, very young, younger than maybe even her children. Then he married that woman because of her wealth, maybe because of her status or something like that. So I have a few pictures here you can see. Yeah, this first picture, you can see that he's a young guy and she's an old woman. But because of certain reasons, and maybe because she's an American, he want a green ticket, so he married her. She's like about 40, so almost same age of older than his mother. So why am I sharing this picture? I'm sharing this picture because they are on social media, they are on various websites. So for that, I consider it to be, not violating any copyright by sharing it for research purposes. Then the picture by the side here, you can see that she's an old woman also, and married a young guy. Maybe because of her money, he married her. And here, a young boy, very young boy, also married a woman. Yeah, and you can see here also, the first picture, a young girl married an old man, maybe because he has money. And here also at the picture below, a very young girl married an old man. So these are all examples of wolf. So as I said, it's a situation whereby a person married another person, not because they are the same age or because of purpose of marriage. Rather, it's because of financial benefit. Maybe the person is very rich, so he married him. Or maybe political position. The person maybe is in a political power, and yeah. Or like the first picture I show you, for example, I'm from Nigeria, so maybe if I want to stay in the United States of America, I'll just find a girl from United States of America. When I get married to her, then I'll get green card and I will stay in America. So what I do, if I do that, is whoop. Yeah, and this one also, possibly she married him because he is an outsider and she wants citizenship of the particular country he comes from. So it's another whoop. Okay, and because of how trending this issue of whoop is, there are even musics now about the term whoop and the situations of whoop and examples, and there are even films that are being shot on that issue of whoop. Let me share some of them. This one is a music. The first one I will share you a music on whoop. Yeah, I will be translating. I will translate some of the verses so that you understand what it means. So this one, you can see she's a woman and the person is a young guy. So maybe the woman is as old as his mother. So she is saying that he should do whoop with her, that he marries her all of a sudden because she has money, influential, and he's telling her that he wanted to marry her, but he's afraid of her children. Her children are already grown up because she's a woman already with grown up children. So she is now telling him that if you marry me, I will buy you houses and cars. I will buy you a big house and a car. Okay, you can see her children, a grown-up guy and a girl. Yeah, so that means she's a woman, as I told you, maybe as old as his mother. So she already have children that's almost the same age with him. So you can see them here. So he is complaining that even if he marries the woman, these are children, will maybe be beating him and they will not call him father. So the song continue like that. Let me show you a film also on this term wolf. Yeah, you can see she's already a woman here, grown up woman, and you will see the guy, a young guy that she is associating with.
Yeah, dai? Ka san shi ne? Kusan juna ne? Ya naka haka kuna ta kallon kallo?
Abokiya ne.
Okay, you can see the first guy here, very young guy, is a friend to her son already. So, and when this guy, who is her like boyfriend, came to her house, he realized that her son is his friend. So she's asking, do you know him? And her son is telling her that, yes, he is my friend, and he's a bad person. So why are you having association with him?
Ba na san shi mana.
Ba shi ne wanda zan aura ai.
Wannan din.
Yi?
So she's telling the son that this is the person I am going to get married to.
Shi ne wanda nake.
Wannan mutumin banza ne fa. Tun mazan garin nan ki rasa wanda zaki aura sai wannan sakaran talakan. Oh!
Hajiya da ma baki mare shi ba.
Yeah, so this example of whoop. Yeah, so let's go back to the presentation. Okay. Yeah, talking about whoop, I told you that example of whoop is when you marry someone because of a particular benefit. Not because you love the person, but maybe because of a particular benefit. So I gave you example that maybe if I want to stay in America, I find my way to get married to an American girl and I get a green card. So I shared this video, this picture. This is a picture we took with other colleagues here in the US. So when I shared this picture with in a WhatsApp group, a Nigerian WhatsApp group, this is a reply I got from a friend of mine. Let me read it in Hausa and translate it. He said, Madalla, Allah ya yi mana jagora, kada wata ta wub da kai kamar yadda aka yi wa wani bakanu. So this is response. You see, I highlighted the word woof. That be careful so that no girl do whoop with you. There is no girl marry you all of the sudden. So you see where his mind goes to. So I'm telling you that whoop is now a trending word in the Hausa community, especially when it's come to marital traditions. Yeah, so I told you about the marital ceremony, the proper way, you know, here in the first picture, representative of the groom and representative of bridegroom comes together. The representative of the bridegroom seek the marriage from the representative of the bride. Yeah, when they are accepted, they give the dowry and the marital process take place proper. And meanwhile, while they are doing that at the house, this below picture shows how the women also celebrate in the houses. So there will be a lot of women celebrating, eating, associating, yeah, cheering off and whatsoever. Yeah. So this one is example of bride and bridegroom, example of couples after marriage in the Hausa community. These are form of dresses. You can see the first and the second picture. This another example. This one is in a village, and you can see this one. Yeah. Yeah, we come to the end of the presentation, and these are references. I will share the references with you in case you want to read some of the text. Yeah, reference continue. Online sources. Summary. Okay, so in a nutshell, we can see how there have been changes in the Hausa marital traditions from olden days to what is happening today. From olden days, the reasons of marriage in the olden days, why the Hausas got married, yeah, and what happened after the influence of religion, that is Islam. After the time, of influence of modernity on Hausa marital traditions. And we explained a lot of things under modernity. There are influence of modernity on food, on dressing, on events, on music, yeah, and other things regarding Hausa marital traditions. Yeah, the last one we finalized with was the concept of woof, which is now trending in the Hausa community. The Hausas did not know it before, but now everyone is almost aware of it. A situation whereby somebody get married to another person because of particular benefit he wants or she wants. Yeah, special thanks to Dr. Akileyo Ojo, who is my supervisor here in Athens, Georgia, and Dr. Allison, of course. Yeah, and special thanks to Mrs. Jamila Jones, Mbukumi, Mr. Olumide, Mr. Taiwo, and of course, Elizabeth. Oh, Nagodi, and this thank you in Hausa, Nagodi. And finally, we'll be maybe moving to question and answers. Yeah. Will you talk?
Hello. Thank you for that presentation. Thank you for the presentation. So the floor is open for questions, and I would like you to kindly try to unmute and ask questions, and let's go in order, like one after the other. So I will be trying to call. I see someone is on mute now. Saddam Umar, do you want to ask a question? Okay. So anyone with questions?
Yes, I have a question. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please, go ahead.
I have a question about this wolf concept.
Okay.
Are there any mistaken identity which, you call wolf, which is supposed to be a purely love marriage?
Do you mean that after a marriage in form of wolf, at the end of the day, it's turned to be a love marriage?
No, I mean that are there cases where an older guy marries a younger lady, or an older lady marries a younger man, but it
Yes.
has nothing to do with financial benefits or green card, like you said, it's purely love?
Yeah, they said in every general rule there must be an exception, right? So for that, in this general rule also of wolf, there may be an exception. So there may be situation whereby the marriage take place between older person and a young person, not for financial benefit or any other benefit, but because of love. So there may be.
And my follow-up question is, how would you classify a situation where a Hausa boy or girl marries a foreigner, but it's purely love, and they are almost the same age? How would you classify that in your context?
Yeah, that one happened, and it's only called Auren Nesa. And Auren Nesa means a marriage. Let me translate it, directly, and then I will give you the correct translation. The direct translation will be par marriage, a par marriage. Yeah, marrying somebody coming from par. So, but technically, it means that a marriage that is conducted between, for example, a Hausa girl with a person that is coming from another strange like tribe, either within near community or from another country, or a Hausa guy and a girl from another place. So that's just the category or classification.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
So any other person, you can go ahead. Hasim, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I am hearing you, sir.
Okay, speak on.
I'm from Nigeria.
Yeah, we understand.
Hello?
Maybe you can put your question in the chat.
Hello?
We can hardly hear you. Could you put your question in chat?
Yeah, write your question please in the chat and we will answer attempt to each. Write your question please in the chat. Yeah, if anyone is having technical problem,
Hello?
yeah, if anyone is having technical problem asking question, the person can write it in the chat and we can read it from here.
Hello?
Yes, respond.
Yeah, we are with you. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes, Kasim, go ahead, please.
Okay, I'm calling from Nigeria.
You are welcome.
I had all of your presentation as I'm following you from Nigeria, and I had you as you has been presenting, and I really appreciate all your presentation.
Thank you.
With them, if possible. I don't know how to I don't know how I can explain it to you, but I know as your field of study,
Hello.
I know you know how to put it in correct listings so that they can.
Okay, you can ask in any language.
Hello?
As far I understand the language, you can ask in another language.
Okay, you don't understand what I mean. Abu-Ubaida.
Yes. Do you have question?
I say you don't understand what I mean.
Another person can
Hello?
read the questions, please. Ibrahim, we can hear you if you have questions.
Oh, me. Hello?
We can hear you.
We can hear you, please. Ibrahim, we can hear you.
So there's a question in the chat, Malam Abu.
Oh yes, I can see someone say, remember that remember to specify that you are talking about Hausa Muslim marriage ceremony and modernization. Why? Because they are Hausa pagans and Hausa Christians. Their present culture differ from the Hausa Muslim dispute of influence of modernity on them. Yeah, and that is correct. Uh, you see, there are still Hausa pagans who are called Maguzawa, but the number is very minimum. The Hausa Muslims are almost close to, let's say, 70 to 80% of the Hausa population, while the pagans have minimum population, likewise the Hausa Christians. Yeah, so that's in point.
There's also a comment that you should look at.
Yeah, he's talking about lalle, and we explained that one before you come. We explained it. Yes, we explained that one before you come. Thank you for your comments. Yeah.
Maybe a quick one. I'm equally interested in the wolf that you mentioned.
You are mute. Turn your mic on.
You have to go off if I turn my mic.
Yeah, continue.
Okay. I'm interested kind of in the wolf that you mentioned, probably more because is that how would you say how soon would you say that started, and is it also just has that affected the traditional institution of marriage in within the Hausa community in any form? And I remember you mentioned the issue of confirming bride virginity. Is that still practiced? And in what kind of communities would you say such is still being practiced? Thank you.
Yeah, you asked two questions. The first one is like, how will I say for how long the wolf tradition started? So let's say not long ago, let's say 5 years back, when the issue of wolf come into being and become popular in the Hausa community. And regarding the second question you asked, regarding whether the Hausas still practice the ways of testing virginity of the bride or confirming virginity of the bride. Yeah, I can see Malam Alamuna Nuhu, the one that commented here. He's a doctor on Hausa pagans, doctor on Hausa pagans. That's Maguzawa and Maguzanchi. Yes, and he can believe with me that up till today, some of the Hausa pagans practice that. Yeah, but in the Hausa community, that's the Hausa Muslim community and the Hausa Christian community, that practice is no more there.
Someone says she should elaborate.
Yeah, and I can see something here. Please let elaborate the word tariwa, because it's when a window got another marriage that Hausa people use the terminology tariwa. Yeah, in that situation, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so he's commenting that usually the word tariwa is when a widow got marriage, another marriage, that the word tariwa is mentioned. Yes, sometimes that happen, but ideally, even when the marriage is new, like in places like Kano, Bauchi, Gudiri, they still use the word tariwa for marriages. Yeah, so he's talking about what yeah, he's daukan amarya. Okay, let me share my screen again. Moving in. Yeah, moving in. Like Asim suggested, daukan amarya. So it's just the process. So the terminology varies from, it depends from where you come from. Like the other time I told you that there are 14 major Hausa cities in Nigeria and 14 major Hausa cities in Niger, and there are minor ones. So it depends from where you are coming from and the terminology you are using. So tarewa, in a sense, whether you call it tarewa or daukan amarya, is the process whereby the family and friends of the bride take her to the house of the husband after marriage. Yeah, questions, comments? Thank you, Mala Alamuna, for this contribution. I told you that Mala Alamuna specialized on Hausa pagans. He conducted his master's degree on Hausa pagans. Hausa pagans. Yes.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello,
please.
Abu-Ubaida.
Yes, please. We can hear.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
But before I ask my question, I have to appreciate your presentation. It is really a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Abu Kumit. Hello, Abu. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. What I'm asking is that from your presentation, I want to know maybe, or if you are going to explain to us that the tradition which we practice here in Sokoto, which I don't think maybe it is a practicing tradition in some other household state, which
Okay,
is
which of the traditions?
Wanke Ango.
Okay,
So,
wanking angle.
yes,
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of traditional activities that are happening. For instance, like blowing what we call pare, that is flute and other traditional activities or events used to happen in that Wankin Ango. So I don't know maybe if that particular tradition it's going on or it's happening on other parts of Hausa state, like in Kano or Bauchi, from where you come, or from Katsina and other parts of the Hausa land.
Yeah, thank you for this interesting question. Actually, that wanking angle, I know it only at Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara. Yeah, so gradually it may be maybe start happening. It may start happening in other parts of Hausa land like Kano, Zazzau, and yeah, the rest of them. But for now, it is more popular in Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara. Yeah, and that's why, because it is not general, I do not include it in the presentation. But Sokoto people are known for that, wanking angle. Thank you.
Hello, Malabu.
Yes.
There is particular culture belong to only Sokoto people, as in Nagani Inasu.
Yes.
It is called Wasaki or Wasaka. It is only been done in Sokoto metropolis or Sokoto state only. I see I love. I see I love.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. There are a lot of traditions, martial traditions that are unique to the people of Sokoto or Sokoto Kebbi Zamfara. A lot of them. Yeah, there are a lot of them actually.
Malabu, please, I'm sorry to interrupt you again. Why don't you think that it is necessary, for instance, to explain to your students there in America, in the US, about all these traditions? As you know, Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara, they are conservative in terms of doing the traditions. Are you getting me? So
Yeah.
at least some traditions that some Hausa traditions we still use to practice them. The oldest one, which were considered as taboo for this one now in other parts of the Hausa land. I think maybe it's just a suggestion. If you can at least elaborate those traditions that are peculiar only to how Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara, because they are oldest traditions, maybe I think later you can explain that to your students.
Oh yeah.
That's
Thank you
my
for this suggestion. Thank you for this suggestion. And the timekeeper is telling me that my time is up. And thank you everyone for participating. It's really an interesting moment being with you. Thank you everyone, and have a good day wherever you are coming from. Thank you, and I love you all.
Thank you for listening and your time. So if you still have a bit of questions and comments, we might be able to just get to talk about that at some other time. Do have a nice rest of the day. Now good day, as you have said.
Rabbi Bugubi, that regards you, hope. Thank you.